Never fails. You see, it's nice and quiet in here now. But earlier today, actually yesterday, there was a racket coming from the furnace that would wake the dead. The blower motor had failed, and I had to fix it. But of course, the blower motor is not in stock, so I have to come up with a MacGyver way to get it running, at least until I can get a replacement. Let's take a look at how ingenious I had to get to fix this stupid thing. My furnace started making one hell of a racket, and what I found is, well, a couple of these brackets that hold the motor in place have just fatigued and broken, so the fan was rubbing. So I gotta order a motor in, obviously, for this thing, because, well, I mean, it's gonna need to be replaced at some point, but the problem is there's no motor in stock. So I'm trying to just get this thing supported long enough to get the furnace running so that I can get it running again. And these brackets appear to be okay for now, but I'm sure that they're probably fatigued as well. And this probably stems from about 5 years ago when the blower wheel started to slip and get unbalanced, and I replaced the blower wheel. But it was probably when it was unbalanced, this thing was shaking and it fatigued the welds, and just after all this time, we had two of them let go. So then it was just dragging along, scraping away. So I'm trying to get this thing to the point where at least I can use it until I get the motor in, and I'm just kind of sticking pieces of coat hanger through the bottom of the motor casing here to try to pull the wheel into balance, or pull the motor into position so that the wheel doesn't rub. But this is what we're up against right now. This has been my project for the day, to try to get this thing in position. I haven't been able to film this because of just where it is on the bench. I don't have a lot of room here with the camera, so I've been not filming what I've been doing. But what I ended up doing was I ended up just putting a coat hanger through one of the vent holes and out the other side of the case, and I might do another one on this side because this one's also cracked. Bring it around here to try to hold this thing in place, at least try to prevent it from breaking the last two ones that are welded on. I guess maybe a solution would be just to try to get this tack welded back on, but a new motor is probably what I'm going to have to do. Although this motor I know is really expensive. Like this was like $450 the last time I changed it about 10 years ago. I'm sure it's more than that now. And of course, you talk to any of these heating companies and they say, oh yeah, you need a new furnace, it's going to be 30 grand. That's what they're up against. Well, we'll sell you a whole new furnace. Well, I don't want a whole new furnace because there's nothing wrong with the one I've got other than the fact that the motor bracket is broken. Ridiculous, huh? So this is basically just a temporary repair so I can get this thing to spin without making a racket. Because what's happened is, well, this bracket is gone completely. It's broken. This one's also cracked. This one's cracked. This one here hasn't cracked yet, but you can see where it's cracked. I guess there's from condensation over the years. It's formed a bit of rust on here, and it's just let go. And this one here is almost let go, but not quite. This one here is this one's broken completely. So I'm just putting some wire in place. I got a piece of steel wire, coat hanger wire, around to the front, and then I'm using copper wire, tighten it down just to try to center the motor and get this thing running long enough to at least get the heat back on until I can get a new one. Don't know how far the motor is away. I'm still trying to track one down. I did manage to track down the price. It's like about $650 for this stupid motor. So I'm going to get a replacement motor, obviously, but we'll see if I can get this thing running in the meantime, just so that I can get the heat back on. And because it's middle of the winter now, even though it's not that cold, it's like 9 degrees Celsius out. Still need the heat running, otherwise they're going to freeze. Downstairs, no problem, because I've got gas fireplaces, but the upstairs part of the house doesn't get any heat from them. So I'm just going to bend this wire in place and try to feed it through this hole here and tighten it around and see if that'll hold this thing at least good enough until I can get the new motor. And then it's not hard to change. It's just if I can get a couple days out of this until the motor gets here, then that's all I need. It might last more than a couple days too, but that's basically all I care about, is that I can get this thing in place and secure long enough to keep the heat on. This is just number 10 copper wire that I'm using, and the reason I'm using that as opposed to, I was going to do it with a coat hanger, but this stuff, the steel wire, is just too hard to work with. It's not malleable enough. whereas the copper wire, on the other hand, is quite malleable, so it's easy to bend it and to pull things tight and into place. And hopefully this will, I'll fire this thing up here in the shop. I'll hook it up to a power cord, and we'll see if it runs up and doesn't make any racket. I think that's probably going to, it sits like this, so that's probably going to be okay. Give us another couple turns on here just to make sure it's not going to break. I might want to put one on this one as well, just because this bracket here is also showing its age. Okay, we'll cut that, and I'll just throw another one through the top here. And then through this vent, as long as I don't poke any windings. Okay, that's not going to move now. That's nice and tight. Let's hook it up to power and create a windstorm in here. Hook up my ground wire again, whatever I did with the screw for that. It's right here. Yeah, it was right there. Alright, ground wire in place. Get my electrical cord and we'll test this out. Let's see here. Which wires do I use? White, blue, black, and red. Well, they're going to be different speeds. White is the neutral, blue, black, and red are the 3 speeds. So we'll just test this. Let's hook up the red wire, which is the slow speed. I guess I better hold that so it doesn't spin away on me. That one works. Okay, that's low speed. Let's see which one medium speed is. I think blue is medium. I'm just going to hold this so it doesn't move. Medium. It's going to have a little more kick to it, I'm sure. And finally, the black one, which is going to be the high speed. This is the one used for air conditioning. I think this is the high speed. Well, it's blowing tapes down from my workbench. It blew some tapes down that were sitting on top of my amplifier. But I think this is probably going to be good enough as a temporary repair until I can get a new motor. And well, this temporary repair might be a little longer than a temporary repair. It might be in there for a while. Even though once the motor comes in, I'll get the motor. I'll have one just to have for when it needs to be done. But this one broke years ago. This one broke when the blower wheel went. That's why it's not there. It's been working off of 3 of them for at least 5 years. Now it's got, well, one good one that's almost ready to go. That's why I put one in here to hold it. And this one here is in place, and that. So, well, we'll see how long it lasts. We'll be doing this again, I'm sure. Anyway, that's my temporary fix to get the heat back on. You can see I'm wearing a jacket because it's freezing. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.